Hey y'all, how's it going? Uh, you might have read the starting soon description there. Take it sleeping on the plane didn't work. That does sum it up. Yes. Long story short, hey, I'm in Japan. Had a overnight flight from like noon yesterday, Friday in America, to like 3 p.m. In Japan time. And since then, I've done a bunch of stuff. You know, we'll go through it shot by shot in a minute. But I'll say just broad strokes here. Today has been a very long day, and it wasn't helped by when I plugged in this whole complicated stream setup. It turns out the stream deck, like half my hotkeys didn't work out of the box. I couldn't go to a break. I couldn't come back from a break. I couldn't advance a slideshow. A lot of my basic stuff was busted, and yeah, but it's all should be good enough now. Took an extra hour, and like I said, I've been up for like since 8:30 yesterday in America time, which was what time is it over there? It's 11 here, 11 p.m. Should be 11 Central Time. It should be like 9:30 a.m. in Central Time, which means like yeah, well over 24 hours. It also, I'll say, I very irresponsibly perhaps got like 2 hours of sleep the night before for reasons. So yeah, but that's not all important. The important thing is that this is a sort of a itinerary stream where I'm going to go over my trip plans. I'm also going to describe that day in further detail. I have photos, and we'll see some photos of this long day. I also have some itinerary slides that I can show. Oh, and also there'll be music because the Switch is set up in my setup, and I figured I just put some Mario Maker music on by just having Mario Maker run in there. That all sounds good to me. The system by which I can play Switch games from Japan, a hotel room, by the way, seems to be working a-okay once I got it all back up set up again. Eesh. Yeah, quick story time. Let's do that real fast. I got this photo gallery situation that I can just pull up. Let me get rid of the side things. There we go. So it was not that complicated, I got to the airport nice and early. I had Einstein Bros for lunch. Went to the gate and just waited. Okay, I can use my mouse to advance that roulette. That's not a problem. Oh, 1 second. That's not the roulette that it is. Oh no. What? This should advance this slideshow. Really? Quick break. Let me see what the fuck. 1 second. All right, I didn't fix it. I'll look into that later, but I did get it so that I can control the slideshow via a different button. I swear this was working like... I swear I did a quick test of this like at some point here. Things just breaking left and right today. OBS was a whole mess getting into it. Anyway, here's how that day went. Got to the airport, had some breakfast. Simple enough. Wasn't bad. Einstein Bros pretty good. Went to the gate with my bags. You can see there I went with 2 carry-ons, or at least attempted carry-ons. You can see they are pretty big, and I have one of them really extended. And the other one there is also extended. That was because it has an extension too, and if I extend it, I can put the my sweatshirts into the bag. But I can also take it out and then compress it down and wear the sweatshirt, and that also works, it turns out. But when I got to the gate, they were like, hey, that's too big, what the fuck? And I was like, geez, you got me. Which I will say, like, 2/3 of the time, it's fine. You go in with a bag like that, they're like, okay, whatever. 2/3 of the time, that is fine. That is a valid carry-on. But sometimes they look at it and say, like, no, we gotta check that. For what it's worth, turns out that's no big deal, because you're gonna spend like an hour in immigration / whatever, customs anyway, so you don't have to do the whole waiting for the carousel to start and tapping your foot thing. All your luggage is just right there once you get through immigration. It's like, okay, well, that's no big deal, it turns out. That's actually kind of convenient. I didn't have to put my thing into the overhead bin. Low key. Yeah, so that was the situation with the bags. Sat down, seat. I had the very back seats. That was like a row of 2, so there was a bunch of space to my side, which was really nice for like putting my bag there and shit. Basically just sat on the plane and played a brand new game, UFO 50, and didn't really watch anything. Didn't really have any movies that I was really interested to see. At one time, I put on Kung Fu Panda 4, and I watched like half of it, and I was like, I think I'm good. But mostly just sort of looked out at the clouds, tried to sleep a little. I zoned out a bit, but I don't think anything that really constituted sleep quite. And I took some pictures of the sky until the thing became really blue and dark because, you know, people trying to sleep and all, and you couldn't, like, undo it. I did like to occasionally just look through the window and go, like, clouds! Ocean! Because I like to see clouds and ocean. And then, won't give you the blow-by-blow here, but eventually we got to Japan. You can see over there, that's land. Kind of hard to see, but that is land. When I saw this land, I was like, land ho, you know, I was fucking looking for it, like a old-timey pirate, being like, where's land? Where's land? I'm looking for it. All I see is clouds. I'm looking for Japan. I know we're descending. By the way, shoutouts to descending. I think that's the best time on a plane flight, when you're about to land, and you're looking for the place you're going, and it's just really nice. And then when you land, it kind of sucks because everyone stands up at once. What are you gonna do? More clouds, actual land, you can see it nice and good. Hey, Lord Bowser, by the way. I took a lot of pictures of clouds. I like this one especially. Look at this. Look at this. It is a shadow on the clouds, and you can see there something of a rainbow formed on the shadow. I don't know how that works. Is this a thing that people know about? Shadows causing rainbows on, like, really diffuse clouds? What the fuck? I've never heard of such a thing, and I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? Wow. And I was really happy to get it on camera, even. Maybe it's a thing everyone knows about, and that's on me for getting excited, but I thought it was really neat. What the fuck? Went and got some money. That's the ATM to use, by the way. 3rd floor. The other ATMs I tried didn't like my card in the airport, but the one on the 3rd floor of Terminal 2 works like a charm, and I think it's the one I used last time, too. Went and got some lunch dinner at Tokyo Base in the airport. Lovely ramen plus whatever those things are and some rice. Those were nice. Though, I did spill some ramen on me because, they have this nice thing, right? Where they have this nice thing in Japan, it turns out, and I forgot about this entirely, where oftentimes at the table, you'll have your water there, and a whole pitcher of water, so, you know, you want more water, you just pour it in yourself. It's pretty neat. That said, I randomly tried on that previous thing, the yellow stuff. Turns out that's really spicy, so I was like, I need water. I need more water. And just like knocked the ramen into my lap as I was like pulling the pitcher towards me. Unfortunate, but You know, what are you gonna do? You live, you learn. I got an even worse story later on in this. Don't you worry. So yeah. Neat thing. Took a express train to Tokyo Station, and then did some local trains to Shinjuku. Turns out that was the fastest way to get to here, and I'll say I'm staying in a hotel near here, like a station or so away. I won't be specific. Let's not be specific here, tell y'all my exact hotel or nothing. Though I will say, I think it's a good hotel and a good one to book, but I'm here right now, so that's weird. I will say, I had an issue in the station. You see, my backpack, right? It's really overloaded, and it turns out, it has a weird ability insofar as the zippers just go all the way to the bottom. So you can literally pull it apart like this. Well, it's really front heavy, and apparently it had just enough weight to literally pull the zippers open and just flop open in the middle of Shinjuku Station. And well, my laptop just went right onto the floor, right onto the floor of Shinjuku Station, as I'm just walking towards my destination, like, oh crap, gotta put everything back together and hold my backpack shut and make sure that doesn't happen again. I realized a little later, like, oh, I put the zippers at the bottom, at one of the bottoms, and that probably won't happen again, but Jesus, I'm really annoyed by that. Backpack designer, you gotta fix that shit. What the fuck? That's a real problem. That's fucked up. Fortunately, the laptop seems to be fine. It is currently running this stream and all. But jeez. Went to the convenience store and got some stuff. I'll say, originally my plan was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Stamina Dawn place that I've been thinking about for ages. And I got into my hotel around 8 p.m. 8 p.m. and I was like, okay, well, I want to do the stream like as soon as possible, which I guess that was 3 hours ago due to technical issues delaying the stream, but I was like, I'm not gonna go out and eat at a restaurant right now. Let's just go to the convenience store, get some toothpaste, get some ice cream, and that's what I got. I got this thing, which was vanilla with like solid dark chocolate swirls in it. Kind of crunchy, really interesting. I don't know if the dark chocolate is quite my taste, but that is an interesting snack. I also got this vanilla cone thing. That's right. It was pretty alright. It is what it is. It's a vanilla waffle cone soft serve thing. Maybe the vanilla a bit strong for my taste, but whatever. Also got some mint chocolate chip. That was alright. I don't know. At that point, I was just like, I gotta take a shower. I gotta prepare the stream. I gotta unpack a little. I gotta figure out where things are going. And spoilers, but I did all that. I had a nice shower. I started unpacking and plugging things in to charge and stuff. And then I started to set up the stream, which turns out to reveal a good amount of technical issues that took another hour or so to resolve extra. Hopefully that won't happen next week when I'm trying to do like more of an actual traditional viewer level stream whilst going over my trip. Not like all at once like this, but like a few photos or a topic, per level, probably. Like, between levels while I'm entering the code, I'll be like, okay, here's how the Flying Dragon at Universal Studios Japan is like, for a random example. By the way, if you're wondering what that stream setup looks like, it looks like this. Except there's a phone where the stand is that has my Stream Deck hotkeys on it, and that turned out to be the main problem tonight. All my hotkeys are not working for shit. Also, I had to reset up some stuff for what it's worth, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Also, I had to like do some testing, this network testing to see what was the deal with like whether I should use whether I should use my VPN, which I got for you know, watching anime while in Japan, you know, so I can watch my Crunchyroll with English subtitles whilst in Japan. It turns out, no, it seems like if you do that, that causes some weirdness. I'll say this hotel used to have some problems with internet connectivity. You just couldn't get a signal in the room, and it seems like they've had a complete 180 that none of the reviewers have picked up on yet. I didn't see any mention of this in reviews and such, but you know, I went into the room and then they had instructions, and it's like, okay, if you want to connect to internet, you connect to the internet that matches your room. So it's like, you know, hotel name, room number, and it's like, oh shit, you know what that means? That just means they put a Wi-Fi router in every fucking room. That's a good way to brute force, like, the problem of the reception is really bad in some rooms. Please, you gotta do something. Okay, fine, every room has a router, fuck it. And so far, it seems to be working great. Hey, I'm really happy compared to how I was 6 years ago in a similar room the first night. Struggling. And I'll say, the first time I was in Japan, I didn't understand how trains worked. So I bought an express pass ticket, and I went into the wrong station and got on a random train. And as a result, I was just taking the local trains all the way to Shinjuku after I realized my mistake sometime in, like, I don't know where even. So I got here, like, 10 or 11, I guess, last time. And this time I got here around 8, but still, it turns out that's still, like, half a day. Oh, did I mention I spent, like, an hour and a half in immigration? Yeah, that was a line. Boy, that was a whole thing. Oh, and I had to get my Wi-Fi egg. I didn't talk about getting the Wi-Fi egg, did I? I sort of skimmed over the whole airport thing. That was like 2 hours in the airport back there. Yeah. Let's hide them photos now. Okay. That's how these last 24 hours have gone. I'll say, whatever, dude. I'll also say it's really hot and humid here and rainy, but man, I'm in Japan and I'm excited to see things. And I looked at the weather. It seems like it's not going to rain all day tomorrow, just like around lunchtime. So I'm kind of clear to see whatever I want whenever I want. It should be good. It should be great. Itinerary. This is gonna be the main meat of today's, because I have prepared a whole bunch of itinerary type information. Let's start with this. Hey, it's the schedule. It's the calendar. You can see there's takeoff and landing, 20th, 21st. A weird thing about traveling to Japan, as if you're an American, you know, coming from America like me, is it's like a 13-hour flight and you land in the next day. So you take off on Friday and you land on Saturday. Already, your vacation has already lost a day just from that. Which doesn't feel good, but what are you gonna do? It's cost of doing business, cost of traveling here, and whatever. So, main plan there, you can see I'm doing 6 nights in Tokyo. Then I take the Shinkansen to Sapporo. I haven't bought tickets or anything for that. I'm just going to buy them on the day. Whatever, it's fine. Then I got a flight from Sapporo to Osaka. Turns out that a flight is like $60. That flight is $60, and it's a lot faster than the Shinkansen. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the way. Might end up with me having like half a day more in Osaka/Kyoto than I otherwise would have. That's going to be like for a whole week, 7 nights, I believe. Yes, 1, 2, yep, 7. Then Fuji Five Lakes Area is the next chunk of the trip. I read the date. That's going to be like, you can see here, by the way, September, October. That's what the numbers correspond to. They are the days in those months. So 3 days there. Main attraction there is Fuji-Q Highlands, but, you know, Mount Fuji's cool too. 2 last days in Tokyo, and then ending on Hakone. Now, I have more detailed information. Let's just go point by point. Check this shit out. I spent a bunch of time this week making some itineraries. Here's the Tokyo one. Tokyo's the main city. It has everything. Basically, you could spend your whole vacation in Tokyo and keep on seeing things, keep on doing things that are really great and interesting, especially if you mix in, like, day trips. By the way, you can see that I've sort of sorted this whole list with emoticons. You can see there that some of them are new, some of them are just places you go, normal style, and anything with a train next to it is like a little bit of a trip, you know, maybe like an hour or two out of the way. A day trip, if you will. Like Mount Takao is a bit of a trek, but it's cool. The main attraction, for me anyway, has to be Tokyo Disney Sea. 6 years ago, last time I went to Japan, I was not a theme park person. And now I am, and I have put in like 3 theme parks into this trip in these various places that I'm going. And probably this thing I am most excited for. Yeah, I know it does cost a lot, Lord Bowser. A 3-week vacation. I will say the yen is pretty weak right now, but you still for what it's worth. For what it's worth there. I think I would also like to see the Ghibli Museum. It's sort of like halfway between Tokyo and Mount Takao. So maybe like while I'm doing that day trip out to Mount Takao, which I'll talk about in a minute, maybe I'll stop by this Ghibli Museum and see a bunch of Ghibli stuff. That'd be cool. I've heard Nakano Broadway is sort of like a anime shopping mall. Very heavily otaku outdoor shopping mall, I think, is the idea. Not exactly sure, but it sounds pretty cool, and I will say I always like to check out anime stores, so otaku shit, that's right up my alley. Also, didn't go to Ueno last time, I think. Well, unless there was something in Ueno that I already saw, but you know what I mean. I would like to... Last time I went to the aquarium in Osaka, I think I'd like to go to the zoo in Ueno. I think they have pandas there? I haven't looked too much, but it's like, okay, well, if that's like the zoo to go to in Tokyo, it must be a pretty damn good zoo. It must be pretty cool to walk around and look at animals and go, yeah, right? As far as destination goes, there's a bunch of them, and really, I'll say, like, each of these locations has cool things in it individually, like Shinjuku is, has the red light district, which has things in it, you know, which is a pretty cool, like, nighttime place to be, and it also has, like, cool things within it, like the robot restaurants, or I think they closed and reopened and like, changed it a bunch, that robot restaurant, but, like, that's a destination for sure, just of itself, and, you know, the thing about Tokyo is that if you went point by point, we'd be here all day. Harajuku is a really cool, like, fashion place. See some... I went there last time and saw some funny stuff, some funny shirts and stuff that made me go like, that says fork off or something, you know. That's silly. Some good shorts and stuff. Shibuya, I think, is my favorite place in Tokyo, based on my last experience. I really love the Shibuya crossing, which is just like apparently I think in New York there's the New York Times Square or whatever. It's kind of like that, where at either side of a big road, like hordes and hordes of people like line up, and then when the lights go, everyone crosses over, and it's real cool. Also, if you don't want to do that, there's an underground walkway, so, you know, you can avoid it if you're pressed for time, but also the gimmick is really fun. And also, there's really cool stores and restaurants around there. It's a great place to go. Definitely look forward to probably going there tomorrow. I'll probably go there tomorrow. Hell, a lot of these earlier places are places I went on my first day back when, and yeah, why not? Just go to them again. They're really close to where I am, and they're filled with some of the best things. Akihabara, obviously the otaku capital of Japan. Really enjoyed going there and seeing things like Super Potato and other stores. Again, I really love anime stores, so that's that. I think Roppongi Hills is like a really cool, big It's like a city within a single building. It's like a massive-ass building that has a bunch of stuff in it. I remember that being a neat day last time, and I'd like to repeat that. There's Odaiba, which is a artificial island that has a big Gundam on it. Last time I went to the island, and I went to the Gundam store, but I didn't see the big Gundam outside. I couldn't find it. And also it was raining, and that was unfortunate timing. Unfortunate that worked out that way, but I'd like to see that again. And there's so many other places, so many other things. And honestly, I could probably list more things that are new to me here. Like last time, I had to choose between the Tokyo Tower and the Sky Tree. The Sky Tree is the tallest, and the Tokyo Tower has the name Tokyo in it. I went to the Tokyo Tower because I thought it would have a shorter line, and it was like one of my last days, so I wanted to get in as much as I could. Could see that, I don't know. Mount Takao is a really cool mountain. It's like the most popular hiking mountain in existence. There's like trams and stuff that go most of the way up, and I would like to take a tram and then get to the summit. Last time I went, I was I met up with my sister for like a couple days there, and you know, she and her friend couldn't. I say couldn't. They wanted to turn around like halfway. I don't know how far up, but I was like, okay, yeah, okay. We maybe don't want to spend all our day on a mountain here. Whatever. This time I'd like to get to the top of that mountain, and that'd be fun. That'd be cool. Also, I heard there was a restaurant that has just eggs, and I'd like to swing by that. That is on my list. That covers Tokyo. 6 nights of that, plus 2 at the end of the trip. Right from there, I'm going to be going up to Sapporo. First off, the cold is going to be entirely new to me, though. I don't think it's really going to be that cold. Sapporo is kind of famous for being cold, but it's not like the cold season yet. I think as cold as it gets, it's like maybe 60s, 50s. I'll say the long sleeve shirts I packed for this trip are pretty much exclusively going to be for Sapporo. It seems like everywhere else is really hot and humid right now, but maybe Sapporo will be cold enough to justify those. Maybe it'll be 60s or 50s or something. From what I hear, here's the destinations I've written down for that. Mount Moiwa is a cool mountain you can take a tram up to the top of. Susukino is like a cool shopping street. Odori Park is the park you see in that middle image. Just a really long park that runs the length of the city, essentially. That's really near to my hotel in that area, too, so I'm just going to be able to walk out and, you know, go a couple of blocks or whatever and just be in that area and be like, oh, yeah, this is nice. I've heard that Shiroi Koibito Park is sort of like a... What's it like? Like a model park? Like it's got a lot of scale model buildings that you can look at or something? It's like a scale model town? That sounds interesting. And Utaru is the image in the lower right there. It's sort of a canal town that's a little out of the way, but not too much. I've heard that it inspired the area where Scar fought the guy with the peg leg in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So that seems like a cool area. I'll definitely check that out. I have written down a few ideas for places I might go on, like, maybe the last day if there's time and I'm out of places I want to check out, like, immediate, like. Noboribetsu is, like, a volcanic area. Cool volcanic cratery area. Lake Toya is just, like, a beautiful lake, I guess. I think those two might be mutually exclusive. Like, if I go to one, I probably won't have time for the other. Also, there's an interesting Ainu Center. Well, looks interesting on paper. Like, near those two things. Or nearer to Toya than Noribetsu, but I might want to see that. I don't know. That sounds interesting. I've enjoyed seeing Golden Kamoi. If you don't know, the Ainu are the native people to Hokkaido. They're the native who lived there before the Japanese annexed them into Japan. And it's sort of a... There's a lot of that cultural stuff in in Golden Kamuy, which is a period piece set in the area, like 100 years ago or whatever. Maybe time goes on. 120 years ago or so, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I've heard their specialties are potatoes, and I put on my map a restaurant called Toriton Kita 8, which apparently is really, really, really good sushi. I don't know if it's like best sushi overall, but I think I must have heard some Japan YouTube person say like that particular restaurant, and I was like, I put it on my list, and I think I'll go there and have really good sushi while I'm in town. That sounds like a plan. Osaka, hey, that's what follows. That's what follows. Again, I've been up 24 hours well over. That's what follows Sapporo. I'm taking a flight there. It's going to be a lot faster than taking a bullet train situation. I'll say the thing about Osaka, I think, is that it's just really, really damn cool. I'll say compared to its like nearest neighbor, Kyoto, it doesn't have as many things to see. You know, its main attraction to me is Dotonbori, which is just the coolest place to be. You can look at the middle picture there, which, by the way, any of these pictures in the places that I've been to, I took those 6 years ago. Those are mine. I had to source them for the ones I haven't been to, but you know what I mean. You understand. You understand how it is. Dotonbori is just like a really cool area that's all around like really good nightlife. Has a bunch of like posters and built advertisements, things of that nature, neon, and it all reflects into the water and just looks so cool. It's really nice to just walk around along that riverside and like take in the sights and also maybe eat on the riverside. You know, do an outdoor restaurant situation. Last time I was in Osaka, and last time I sort of split them up, I did Osaka and Kyoto separately. I struggled to sort of fill up those 2 or 3 Osaka days that I had, but I really love the hell out of Dotonbori, so I'm staying in Osaka, but, you know, I put Kyoto mostly for a reason. It has most of the attractions, except one big one, which is Universal Studios Japan, which, again, I'll say, I wasn't a theme park person 6 years ago. Now I am in a big part because I've been to Universal Studios Orlando like 4 or 5 times in the last 6 years. And, yeah, that's one I'm really excited for, insofar as I'm a Universal adult, if that's the thing that people say. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Universal. That'll be fun. I've heard Sumiyoshi Taisha is like a really cool bridge. I don't know. Maybe I'll make time for that. As far as other places, Shinsekai is a really cool like eating area. You can see a picture there in the lower right. It's just got an area that has a lot of like really cool storefronts and also a really nice neon tower. And that's where I had kushikatsu last time, which are like a bunch of random stuff fried up, sort of, on sticks. Really interesting, fun thing to eat. I'll also say shout out to the Umeda Sky Building. I think that's probably my favorite building I went in Japan last time I was there, which you can see right next to me there. Right there. That is a building that has 2 sides, and there's a hat that's on top of them, and there's 2 escalators to just run up through the nothingness, through the gap, into that top hat on top, and it is a hell of a thing going through those escalators and being like, oh my god, there's just ground down there. What the hell? And there's like at least last time, 6 years ago, there's like a museum display type situation dedicated to like famous towers in history. It's a cool scene. Last time the roof was closed 6 years ago, so maybe I'd go on the roof this time. That'll be nice. Osaka Castle is like a museum built into an old-timey castle. It's pretty cool as well. Definitely worth a trip if you're there. And I will say I thought Osaka Aquarium was really nice last time. As for other like day trip type things, Nara is just a safe place to go. It has a lot of deer running around, and that's fun for an hour or two, looking at the deers. And I don't know nothing about Kobe. If Kobe's really good, y'all tell me, someone comment what I would look at in Kobe, because I could go to Kobe, I don't care, but, like, I don't know what I would look at is the problem. But that is a name that everyone knows because of the beef, so the thought has crossed my mind, maybe. Yakiniku is supposed to be like some sort of grilled beef type situation, like a barbecue thing that is a specialty of the area. I didn't know that. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. We'll see. Kyoto. Those same 7 nights also account for Kyoto. Oh. One last thought on Universal Studios Japan. Real damn shame that Donkey Kong Country appears to be opening in November. That's going to be way after my trip, of course, but what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? I'll see it in Orlando soon enough, don't y'all worry. Not that you would be worrying. Kyoto. Kyoto is just a place that has absolute tons of things to see. First off, worth noting, yes, I got a ticket for the Nintendo Museum. It was in a lottery situation, and if you were looking at the calendar earlier, you might have noticed that the week I'm going to Kyoto, you probably didn't notice, but the week that I'm going to Osaka/Kyoto, yeah, that's opening week for the Nintendo Museum. I was maybe lucky to get in the time I did, but I'm in and that's great. I've also heard Toei Kyoto Studio Park is like an old-timey park. I'll say, like, right before I went to Japan, I was not sleeping, as I sometimes do. I was, like, watching some anime instead, and randomly rewatching Komi Can't Communicate, and sure enough, just by pure coincidence, in the episodes of Komi Can't Communicate that I saw, like the last ones I did before I went to sleep and such, they went to Kyoto, and they went to, like, a parody version of that studio park. That made me go, like, wait, why isn't it on my slide? And then I looked at my Google Maps, and I totally had it marked. I just forgot that I did mark that, and remembered to put it on the slide as a result. I'll say these slides, maybe they're not perfect, maybe I'm missing something obvious, but, I think I got a pretty good list of things I want to see. Kiyomizu-dera is a fantastic temple. A lot of temples in Kyoto. Kiyomizu-dera is like on a cliffside. That's real cool. Fushimi Inari is the one with those famous gates that inspired Star Fox 64. Or just Star Fox, I guess, maybe, right? That place seems cool. I would like to go up all the way if I can. Last time, I feel like I was just walking in the dark for, like, ever. And I was like, oh, I got to a really nice vista. And I was like, okay, it's like 11 p.m. I'm gonna turn back now. I wouldn't mind getting to the top this time. And doing it during the daytime where you can see better and take better photos. There's the Golden Pavilion, which is the golden one right next to that fire situation, which we'll talk about in a minute. And there's the Silver Pavilion, which I think is just another cool old-timey building. I'm not really sure exactly what that entails. Ryounji Garden is a rock garden that's pretty cool. Nijo Temple is pretty cool. It's a castle. Nijo Castle. It's a castle. That's kind of all there is to it. Maybe it won't make my maybe I won't make time for that this time. I don't know. Arashima Monkey Park is a monkey park where you go and you feed the monkeys. Bamboo Forest is a bunch of bamboo there where you walk through a nice path that is just on either side towering bamboo. Really cool to walk through and look at. It's also really cool to mess with the monkeys, and there's cool scenic nature just everywhere around that area. Nishiki Market is a cool market where you can try out various... There's a lot of street food in Nishiki Market. It's pretty good. And Gion is like a famous, old-timey town part of Kyoto. I don't know if it's still a thing. I don't know if it still allows people in. There was a whole situation with that like a year or two ago, right? whatever is the case currently, I'll, you know, abide by it, but, you know, just to say, like, I'm not overlooking it or nothing. If I could go to it, sure, why not? And Fire Ramen, I gotta tell you about Fire Ramen. Actually, it's pretty self-explanatory. Look at that image. They take this ramen, right? And then they fucking light it on fire in front of you. And you're, like, just a foot away from it. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna go back there again. That was really cool. That'll be cool again. That about covers Kyoto, though there are more shrines you can see, more specific museums that might be worth a look. I'll say I do have more places marked on my map, but those are the ones that I would prioritize, maybe, or would remember off the top of my head, more or less. Fuji Five Lakes Areas. This is sort of the coaster capital of Japan. Fuji-Q Highlands is basically the big thing there. It's my understanding that Fuji-Q Highlands is sort of like Fuji-Q Highland, singular. It's sort of like the I've seen it compared to like Six Flags Magic Mountain, but I would compare it, probably never having been to either of them, to Cedar Point, where it just has tons and tons of roller coasters, really cool scenic views of Mount Fuji, and that sounds great. I love coasters. I can't wait to ride on them and see what's what. I'm there for 3 nights. I'm planning only on going to the park one of those nights. I'm staying in the property hotel, right? So I technically will have access to it all 3 days, but my plan is to go out and see like some nature most of those days, 2 of those days. But still, I hear that their facilities are cool. They have like I think they have some sort of Mount Fuji museum, like nearby or part of the park or something. And also there's like an onsen like in the facilities, which, yeah. More onsens, by the way. It's one of the long and shorts of my plans, by the way. I didn't mention it, but Mount Takao earlier has a great onsen. Really love that. Looking forward to going there again. And trying out more onsens. Lots more onsens. Hot springs, if you don't know what onsens mean. That's what they call onsens here. And what people call onsens when referring to them in Japan. I'm looking forward to seeing Mount Fuji and it being cool. Mount Fuji is a very popular mountain, a very famous mountain, and I would like to look at it. Other than that, I've marked a bunch of stuff around, like the lake where Mount Fuji, or where Fuji-Q Highlands is. There's like a really cool pagoda. There's a corridor where there's a bunch of cool maples planted. The Lake Kawaguchi Maple Corridor. A lot of the stuff that I'm looking at more around Kawaguchi, honestly. Like the Music Forest Museum, which seems like a very cool and bizarre museum. Oishi Park is just a very scenic place to look at Mount Fuji. There's also a panoramic ropeway, another good place to look at Mount Fuji. And a gem museum, which just sounds fascinating to me. That just sounds interesting. I put some locations that are a little farther there, other lakes, you know what I mean? Saiko Iyasha no Sato Nemba, I think that's like a historical village is the idea. Like a whole village set up how it would be 200, 300 years ago. There's also a really cool cave. And I put in there the lake where Laid Back Camp got its start. Like the campsite you see in the first episode of Laid Back Camp. I'm probably not going to go to that one. It's like an hour or 2 out of the way. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. Part of me does look at this area that I'm going to and say, like, wait, Laid Back Camps is basically set here, right? I could go see any number of Laid Back Camp scenes, Laid Back Camp locations, but not a high priority. Kind of a low priority, in fact, really, realistically. Unless I have a bunch of time. Finally, Hakone. This will be the last stop on my trip. It is just 1 night, and in the morning I'm gonna have to like hustle out and go to the airport which sounds like it would be hard, and also sounds like it would be hard to, spend a bunch of your day traveling to Hakone. But Hakone is kind of treated in the same way as Mount Takao is, kind of, insofar as you can kind of do it as a day trip. Spend 2 hours getting out there, see everything, spend 2 hours going back. Except I won't be doing that. I'll be going to a fancy, super fancy, semi-fancy Ryokan. It's hard to pronounce that, Ryokan. Ryokan. It's a fancy hotel, fancy inn, basically, in Japanese parlance, where they give you a fancy meal at the end of the day that's like a 6-course meal or some such. And also, my room has a onsen in it. Has like a little, I think it might be exposed to the outside, I'm not sure. Like, you might get a nature view as you're, like, in your private onsen. I know that, bats exist, but, I'm pretty sure there is a distinction here between an onsen and a bath. Maybe. It's a fancy feature, and I'm paying a little extra to get one night of that because I think it sounds rad as hell, and also Hakone has a lot of really cool stuff in it. Also, I put there Hakata Museum of Arts has a footpath cafe. I don't think I've used the footpath cafe. I think I'll avail myself of that before going around the loop and seeing everything else in the area. There's sort of like a loop in Hakone, I think it's my understanding, where basically you go on the Hakone ropeway, maybe you pass the Open Heart Museum on the way, you pass Owakudani, which is sort of like a volcanic area on the top of some mountains. You go down the mountains, there's a visitor center, which I don't know if that's a destination, but I was looking at it, it's like, this looks alright, I'll put it on my list. And then you ride a pirate ship across like a cool lake area, all the way to Hakone Shrine, and there you go. There's also tons of onsens in that area. It's sort of the onsen capital of Japan. It's a hot springs resort town in a nation that is full of hot springs. It is like the one that is the town that is most known for hot springs. I looked up like what the best ones were, and I read that Kowakian Unesan is a good one. That is not the hotel I'm staying at, but it's near enough where after I finish the loop, maybe have some dinner, maybe I'll wander over there and get some time in the onsen before the stream. We'll see how that works. Oh, by the way, we'll talk about that in a second. I guess I didn't mention when I was going over overall plans. I am planning 3 streams while I'm here on 3 days. You'll see. I'll explain it right at the end. I also saw something about a Venetian glass museum. That sounds cool. There's also onsen tamago, which are basically like eggs that are cooked in hot springs. That sounds cool. And yeah, that aforementioned ryokan meal. Oh! That about sums up the whole dang itinerary. Going back to the schedule for 1 second. I didn't mention it earlier because I guess I have been up for a while and I didn't think about it. But yeah, you can see the little globe icons there. Those are icons meaning that every Saturday I'm going to try to do a stream. Ideally around 10 p.m. and ideally not going too long. Going over everything I saw, sharing some photos, and also doing viewer levels. I'll do some viewer levels in between the nonsense, and we'll see how it all works. We'll see if there's any issues with hotel Wi-Fi, etc. Maybe I can use my Wi-Fi egg if that's a concern. We'll see. At this one hotel in Tokyo, it seems to be working great, but Sapporo, Osaka, and Hakone, there's some question marks there, I guess. I'll say. Yeah. I think it'd be cool to cover this trip as I'm doing it, rather than, getting home at the end of the trip and being like, okay, it's time to do a stream where I cover, I play some viewer levels and also cover 3 whole weeks of sightseeing. That's, just sounds impossible. That just sounds impossible right there. Bonus slide. Retail chains are cool too. Here's 4 of them. that I think are nice. Don Quixote is like a convenience discount store where it is, they are sort of like convenience stores in that you can basically go in there and get everything, but they're massive. It's like if you combined a convenience store with a Costco. Pretty incredible stuff, I'll say, and, goddamn, they're my go-to place for going and getting, like, treats or you know, I like to have a dessert at the end of the day, and if I'm looking to just pick up some candy or something, Don Quixote is my favorite place to go for that. And also, they have everything else. There's, like, multiple stories. And like Costco, they just have the boxes, like, out in the open. It's pretty cool. I'll also say Animate is a really cool, like, manga store. I don't know, like, how popular it is, but I remember it being really hyped up in the anime Comic Girls, which I really super enjoyed around the time I went last time. It was relatively new then, I guess, like a few years old tops. I went to a lot of Animates last trip, and it's fun to pop in and see, like, a poster for an anime I'm seeing. Isn't that something? You know, you don't see posters for anime you're seeing in real life in America that often. I don't know, at least I don't. I did see someone watching I Parry Everything like 2 weeks ago, though. That was bizarre. Someone in the office, in like a more quiet part of the office where, you know, you can sort of set up and you know, do some work or whatever in peace. That was interesting, but that's the closest I've gotten to seeing anime stuff. And I'll say, I've seen some anime stuff since I was here. I saw, like, when I was in the airport, they had, like, one of the stores had a campaign, an Oshinoko campaign. That was cool. Super Potato is a very cool used game, old retro game store, which is cool to go in and browse in. And there's, like, a couple of them, one in, like, Akihabara, one in Osaka, what the fuck? One in Osaka. Probably more as well, I don't know. But, I'll probably pop into that again. And Family Mart is just a really good, like, convenience store chain. I don't know. I don't remember if I went to Boston, all that much. I'm seeing some weird performance stuff on the laptop. Encoding overload? That's weird. I'm not doing much of anything. Go figure. Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully it's fine. I'll also say Sega Game Centers are no more. Rip them. They were also a cool place to pop into, but that's just that then. So yeah, that's the whole itinerary. That's the whole thing. I pretty much covered it all, didn't I? Over this last hour. It's a little past midnight here. I would like to end and such. So yeah, I think I will. Quick amendum from like 10 minutes after I ended the stream. I'm gonna insert this into the VOD, like, right between the itineraries and last thoughts, I guess. I don't know, we'll see, but, I just realized I have cards prepared, and I was gonna go through them really quick at the end, and I guess I'm just really tired and really out of it, because in ways that aren't really visible on me, because I totally forgot to go over them. Here, let me show you. Quickfire cards. The idea is, these are cards that sort of cover things that I've been up to in the last week, other than Japan, that we can just sort of talk about, like, for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds each, you know, a half minute tops. We'll get through these in the next 10 minutes, I'll say. Starting off, hey, I've been playing the Plucky Squire. I got the Plucky Squire when it came out on Tuesday. I got it on Switch with the intent of playing it on the plane. Unfortunately, the Switch version seems to be very bad. Performance-wise, it chugs. It goes down to like 10 frames a second a lot of the time. Plucky Squire is a game that's set in like a storybook, and you sort of pop up into the real world, and it's all like 3D. It's all 3D visuals and stuff. It looks realistic, and it turns out it looks so realistic that the Switch 1 chokes on it. And also, when you get right down to it, I'm kind of thinking it's a little bit mid, right? Like, I spend the 2D sections going like, yeah, this is just a bunch of running around, walking around, solving tedious puzzles. The 3D sections, though, you know what? Only look good in comparison to the 2D sections, so how good are they really? They're also kind of tedious, but at the very least, they have, like, Mario Odyssey gimmick of going into and out of 2D in interesting and creative ways. But, suffice it to say, I don't think I'd recommend it. I would, on the other hand, recommend UFO 50. Heard people talking about this, a Steam game where basically the idea is that a couple of big indie developers put together like 50 classic-looking games and put it into like a fake timeline, right? Like, oh, UFO Soft was this legacy company from like the 80s, and these are the 50 games they put out in that, in their first couple years or whatever. It's like a legacy historical collection type deal. And it's really fun. The old-timey games are creative, usually have an interesting hook to them, and they play well, and they're fun to mess around with for, you know, anywhere between like 10 seconds before you realize like, this is tower defense. I don't really like tower defense, so I think I got it. I think I got what you're doing here. Great sprites and visuals and all. Or like literal games that seem like you could spend like hours and hours and hours on, like exploring a big labyrinth. Some of them are like full-size seeming games, though clunky and hard to get the hang of in a way that's weird. I'll say my favorite, I think, is Mortalis, in which you play as a bunch of guys and you can, you know, basically sacrifice their lives to make like platforms for yourself or blow yourself up and clear the way for your next remaining dudes. And also you can pick up like little power-ups that give you additional dudes to get. Mortalis, I think that's my favorite. I've played like 40 of them. A lot of the flight was spent playing UFO 50, though I also did take some melatonin and I tried to sleep. Emphasis on tried. I feel like I just sort of closed my eyes and tried to think of nothing, and I did zone out a little bit, but only in so much as occasionally I would go like, oh, I forgot I was on a flight. Oh, damn it, I remembered I'm on a flight. That's not sleep. That's not sleep. UFO 50 seems like it's really good. I don't think it's like best game of the year type tier, but it's up there. It's really cool. I don't think it's like number one. Some people are saying it's number one. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but some games aren't as good, and other games I'm just like, yeah, you know, whatever. I don't want to spend like the 20 minutes to actually understand how you're supposed to explore this labyrinth or whatever you put together. I think Mortalis 2, by the way, one of the 40 games, a sequel to Mortalis. Mortalis 2 seems pretty disappointing. Nowhere near as interesting as Mortalis 1, which I've done like the first 2 levels of for what it's worth, you know, not going in deep yet. Also, did you see that there are Rivals of Aether news? That's right, there was Rivals of Aether news. It has a date, sometime in like October, like after I'm back from Japan. That's interesting. I'm sure I'll play some of it on stream. Also, they announced that Forsburn is the last character to be at launch, but also that there'll be monthly content, so that's nice. Hey, whatever. It was what everyone was expecting, and I look forward to seeing who else is going to be added. I'll say I've never been a big fan of Forsburn, but maybe the new moves that they add in that game. For Rivals of Aether, by the way, is like a platform fighter like Smash Brothers, but indie, and you know, it used to be a 2D game, and for the second one, for the sequel, it's now 3D. Also, they gave up on calling it Rivals 2. It's now Rivals of Aether 2. So, there you go. It's, that's a thing. Palworld's getting sued by Nintendo. I read a little bit about this on Twitter and stuff, And basically it sounds like Nintendo has a bunch of bullshit patents that everyone looks at and goes like, yeah, well, if you started enforcing patents like a confirm deny screen when you quit the game, you could sue any game, you could sue anyone. But Pal World sort of pissed them off real royally by, you know, being such a thinly veiled Pokemon like inspired game, let's say it that way. And also being very like mature. I say mature. Being very like violent and such at the same time as doing that. And also they became really big, so Nintendo Pokemon Company probably really pissed at them, and they finally figured out a way to fuck them up real good. That's I'll say, I kind of agree with people saying that, like, this sort of patent trolling probably should be illegal, considering that, like, you could sue anyone like this with patents this generic. Like, oh, if you see a shadow behind a tree of your character, Nintendo owns that. And if they want to take you down, they can get you for that. I guess. I don't know. I tried Wayback Burger. Mentioned I might. Before I left, I tried that burger. It was okay. Kind of reminded me of a fairground burger, but like a good one. Whatever. I finished 6 seasonal simulcast anime. 6 seasonal simulcast anime ended since the last stream there. And I have a new way of showing those results. Here, oh, let me make myself small. I did not consider that I'd be big when I positioned that. Oh wait, can I just move it? Oh, brilliant. That works as well. Ayla sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. That show is delicious. And, you know, it has one character who's super horny that makes it a little bit trashy in a fun way. But the basic conceit of Ayla being a Russian a freshman exchange student who sometimes, like, says sweet nothings in Russian, and it turns out her boy that she's interested in understands Russian. That's just a delicious concept, and even if they don't lean on it, as much as I would have liked, I still really loved pretty much every episode, and I think it deserves that heart. Also here, oh, look at that, the next slide button here works for this one anyway. My dear friend Nokotan, unhinged comedy anime about a dear girl who just goes for it and does weird stuff, and they don't make any attempt to make that make sense. It's unhinged and wild, and I think it's a good time. That said, I didn't like every skit. I didn't love every skit. But I'll also say, even the skits that aren't funny, they're at the very least interesting, or like, okay, so, like, her antlers are bombs now? What? Okay. That's something I've not seen before. You can at the very least say that every time it's, like, doesn't quite hit right. I don't know. I just realized I forgot to hit start record at the start here. Damn it. Well, I'll get it off the VOD. I'll get it off the VOD off the Twitch side, that's fine. Days with My Stepsister, coming in at a 3 out of 5 for me. I just found it very tedious. A lot of that anime is spent, like, in monologues, where characters explain their feelings as feelings that we already understood. And also, you know, that sort of prevents things from happening. It's a great concept, and I'll say, like, it's a very realistic anime, and the problems that it has kind of stem from it being so realistic. Two characters become step-siblings, and, you know, they're both pretty jaded, and they both don't believe that they'll ever fall in love with, you know, a stepbrother or sister. You know, that doesn't happen, but they're both thinking this and having pretty much the both same emotions, like, throughout, and at a certain point, you're just like, come on, you gotta go somewhere. And I'll say, the last episode didn't go nowhere, so that's why it's a 3 out of 5 and not a 2 out of 5. The pacing was all shot to hell, but at the very least, it ended well enough, and, you know, I'll give it props. They understand the characters. I parry everything. It's sort of a one-trick pony of a show. Dude parries everything, but he is really likable. The way that he puts together his kit of, like... Basically, the concept is that he gets a bunch of random abilities that no one expects him to be able to do anything good with. And he puts them together into a coherent kit that he can use to do basically anything he wants. It usually just comes down to him parrying and everyone being impressed, though, which is pretty typical, but I think there's enough here that at least warrants a 4 out of 5 in my books. I like the side character, the princess. She's a great foil to him. She understands, like, how great he is. Even if every time he kills, like, someone really strong, he's like, you know, he fights a minotaur and says, like, man, that cow, if I can't fight a cow, how good am I? And it's like, no, that was a giant minotaur, dude, but that's fine. I get it. That's your joke. It's a funny joke. 4 out of 5. Cafe Terrace and its Goddesses, Season 2. Really loved how unhinged this was. The main point here to mention is that they have a goddamn evil harem in this season. Goddamn evil harem. They added an evil harem, an extra 5 girls to have some fun with, you know, in the way that you do. And also, it kind of just starts with everyone being on the same page of like, oh, this is real. This is happening. We're all into this dude, and this is a competition. And with that impetus, they go some fucking places, and they go hard, and it goes big. It's very horny, and it's good. I will say the basic concept of the show is that a bunch of college to, like, senior high school level, you know, like 18 to 20-somethings, are, like, living as live-in maid cafe waitresses, and the owner is kind of a grump who they all slowly fall for, and he's like a 20-something as well, you know, he's like a college hotshot type. Big thing. It gets better as it goes. It gets more unhinged as it goes, and I think it's made by... I think I might have heard somewhere it's made by the same people as Quintessential Quintuplets or similar talent. I'm not sure about that, but I think when I originally watched it, I got those vibes, and yeah, it picks up in the ways that one does. And finally, Pseudo Harem, a show where a girl likes a boy, and she's an actress, she's in the drama club. She starts putting on different personalities in order to, you know, have good banter. And it's fun and light, and mostly it's just like one-off little rom-com scenes where the characters have a very fun, cute little gimmick that they do in conversation where, you know, he'll go like, he'll suddenly just start acting like an imp. You know, like a Nagatoro type character, and he'll go like, Imp-chan! Oh my god! Hey, that's Imp-chan! And she'll laugh, and he'll laugh, and it's fun. I was sort of leaning towards a 5 out of 5 without a heart, you know. That'd be like an A tier versus an S tier. Best of all time status, but even if every episode sort of is just a bunch of little skits that are cute and innocent and ineffective, they're funny, the characters are great, and it's just a really feel-good thing. It's just a really straight-laced rom-com, and that's kind of all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be like, you know, Comey Can't Communicate to be up in that top echelon. It's great. It's solid. I love it. Suffice to say. And that's the end of the list. And by the way, yes, that's a new format for anime. I'm sort of thinking that might be helpful in the future, and especially when I'm like going through anime that are new. You can see what the anime sort of looks like by its image. What I did is I took screenshots of AniCharts things, and I sort of edited a little bit to make some space for my ratings. Maybe this will be the way forward for like when I'm trying out new anime as well. Simulcast style and all that. Finally, maybe? Yes, Tupperware went bankrupt or filed for bankruptcy. That's weird. Tupperware's like the you know, the company that has the name, the famous name. I guess they don't sell very well because there's competition, you know, maybe from other brands. Or they're so good that you never need to buy another one. I don't know. Doesn't really matter to me. I just thought, like, oh, that's interesting. And that is Quickfire cards. Just a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about that happened since the last stream and such. I'll edit this into the VOD somewhere appropriate. It might be lower quality than the rest of it because I'll be going off the Twitch rather than the YouTube, or rather than the local recording, but also, like, this is just me looking at some cards and saying things, so that's no big deal. Okay, back to myself from the past. If you're watching this not live, done. I'll say, like, my main... If I had to have, like, one big takeaway for things I want to do differently this time. One, I'm seeing more places. I'm seeing, like, 2 extra areas, Sapporo and Fuji Five Lakes Area. Fuji-Q Highland, Highlands area. I'm not separating Osaka and Kyoto and sort of doing them as a you know, doing them both at once. I'll say, you can get from Osaka to Kyoto in like 30 minutes, so that is absolutely viable, and in fact, probably the better way to do that. Theme parks are a big part of it, and more onsens, I think, is another takeaway. The last time I was here, I sort of had like the onsen experience where I really enjoyed it at the very end. That Mount Takao trip was like in my last 3 days originally. Which, if you think about it, the original Mount Takao trip is kind of similar to the Hakone trip this time, except I'm staying in Hakone after I go see all the stuff it has to offer, which, admittedly, I think it does have a little more to see than Takao, for what it's worth, but yeah. That about sums it up. Thanks, anyone, for stopping by, hanging out, listening to me go over my extensive plans. I hope people enjoyed seeing the images and full listings of things I will be checking out. Of course, it is not comprehensive, and other people might have other things they want to see, other priorities. I imagine there's a lot of people who go to Japan and never think to go in an anime store. I love an anime store. I also love the nature stuff, and the shrines, and the cool stores that aren't even anime, where it's just like, oh, this is a department store. Look at that, there's a Nintendo Switch. How about that? There's like in Shinjuku, in Shibuya, I remember going to the Labo department store and thinking like, oh, this is a cool place. This is a cool department store. I can see why it's in a popular area. I guess they're probably everywhere. I don't know. It was cool though, and that what counts. Isn't that what counts? Tonight seems to have gone great. I'll be doing this again. Except next time it won't be like this where I just talking crap. Next time it'll be Mario Maker viewer levels / Japan Travelogue, and that'll be the case for the next 3 weeks. I'm planning to do it every Saturday, and I'm looking to start around 10 p.m. and go for like 2, maybe 3 hours. We'll see what makes sense. We'll see how long I'm willing to go. You know what? Maybe I should edit YouTube VODs going up within a day. I don't know when the VODs will go up, for what it's worth, but you know, I'll definitely get them up eventually. And I'm gonna make sure that YouTube Shorts keep going up. I have a good supply of those, so those will continue going up, basically same as normal. Look forward to a whole bunch of streams. A whole bunch of that the next 3 weeks, and I would love it if folks were to come by and give me viewer levels during that. I know it's pretty early in the morning America time, but hey, you know, if anyone is in Europe, for instance, it's a pretty good time for Europe, and other countries too, and like areas of Asia. That would also be really nice. I'm trying to get to like a raid button on my phone real fast. Let me connect to the Wi-Fi. I did some weird stuff where I decided to connect the phone directly to the thing, and to do that, it needs to not be on the same Wi-Fi, or else the stream deck gets confused. Not sure which one it should go off of. Let me go to the creator's dashboard, go to Stream Manager, and send off anyone who's still watching away on a raid. And, it's really late over here, and I need to sleep. So, you know, I'll only pop in there. Being really slow on my phone. Maybe I can do it on my computer instead. Hang on. Let's do that. Maybe I'll do more stuff on the PC here since I have it and all. I need to go to the dashboard. Dashboard.twitch TV, that's right. Stream Manager. Okay, this will be a great place to do it. I'll do it this way next week as well, I guess. Okay, folks. All goes to plan, I'll say. You know, this is all assuming hotel Wi-Fi works great, or the Wi-Fi egg works in a pinch. I got like 10 gigs of data per day on that Wi-Fi egg, so I should be good to go, I think, even if I got like their maximum data plan on that thing, and it wasn't like break the bank expensive, so that's fine. You know. Let me do a raid. Who is on that I'm like following right now? Is anyone? Nintenpad is doing something. Spike Vegeta. I don't think I've ever been able to. He's probably too. You know. Let's go with. He's probably too big to notice a raid of my size. Let's go with I think I might have raided Nintenpad relatively recently. Let's raid Tylusion. Tylusion's been cool. I think I raided Tylusion relatively recently. Actually, but he's doing Wind Waker, and Wind Waker is cool. Let's go with that. I'll send you that way. Alright, Jeez. I'll see you on, next Saturday. It'll be Saturday night for me, Saturday morning for anyone in America, and, y'all figure out your own time zone wherever you are, for the in-between times. I'll see you then, assuming everything goes to plan, and I don't, like, change my mind and go like, well, maybe I don't want to stream on my one Hakone day. Maybe I want to stream, like, when I get home instead. We'll see. We'll see. Thanks for the enjoy your time. I'll see you later, folks. Y'all have a good one, and I'm going to enjoy my vacation and sleep tonight. Jesus Christ.